have been told that I share too much about sex and topics like this, but I think that it's really important for more people to talk about it. And even if it is maybe a little bit jarring for some people, I guess, I don't know, am I maybe breaking people's consent by talking about it?
Topics related to sex, if that's making someone uncomfortable, that's not ideal. That is violating that person's boundaries. If we're perceiving discomfort from someone else, then we should respond to that. But at the same time, like recognizing that in general, talking about this, that like we have the right to talk about our own sexualities and to kind of put that out there on platforms like this for others.
I actually want to follow up on that as well.
Yeah.
I think that's a really interesting point, Sam, in like how much you should share, whether it's private between you two, what anything has happened. If you do have a sexual experience with someone and you share it without them saying, want you to tell people, what do we think about that?
That's a great question, because I think that sharing private information about a sexual experience between yourself and another person, not ideal, right? Especially if it's identifying that person. I think at its worst, we can think about locker room talk, right? And the idea of talking about the details of a sexual encounter with someone from this place of often wanting to brag or boast about it, that's like pretty toxic, and it really feeds into that kind of sex as conquest mentality. That said, I also think there's a place to talk about sexual experiences, but coming from that place of care and respecting the privacy of others. I actually think that's really important. And I can think of lots of experiences with my girlfriends, specifically debriefing sexual experiences, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a super important thing to do. I think those things are quite different from each other, and that there's going to be shades in between.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to clarify, you'd say that if it's ragging or trying to kind of be like, look at me, I'm so cool, then that's probably not okay. But okay, if it's a debrief, I don't know. Because, okay, I guess the point is it okay to share that you've slept with someone? Is that the question? Because what if they don't want people to find out? What if they don't want to? Especially, I think for some people, you know, they don't want to be talked about. I think there's also an argument to be said that I was thinking while she was saying that by openly talking and sharing everything in a way that kind of makes everything more normal, but then you can't then go around and, oh, she's fucked him and he's fucked her and I fucked this person, blah, blah, and that's what they did last night and I know this and this and that. Like, there is some kind of line somewhere, but I think there is definitely an argument to say the more you talk about it, the more normalized it becomes. And then I think the more natural you can get to talking about sex, but then, and therefore there's probably going to be more consent and more communication. This will be positive, but yeah, I don't know. I know that wasn't really a question, but.
It's easy. No. See? You're doing it too. I think that, I think I hear what you're asking, and I think we can talk openly about sex without violating people's privacy, that we can talk about our sexual experiences and our experiences without necessarily like naming people and naming specific details about them. And yeah, that's my general principle to follow, and thinking about, are we sharing experiences that involve other people in a way that upholds their dignity and is coming from a place of like care and concern for their well-being, which includes privacy, I would say, is part of well-being.
Okay, would it be upholding their dignity if you were saying that someone was really good in bed?
I think it depends on the context. Yeah, I think it depends on the context. And also, like, who you're sharing it with, right? Like, if you're sharing with your bestie, who you know isn't going to go, like, sharing those details with someone else. I think most of us have people in our life who we confide in and might share more details than we would with others. That's one thing versus, like, going on, like, I don't know, Instagram, making a story about it. I don't think people do that. But